my mom and I were sitting here talking about captains. You know, a long time ago. That who's that?
I don't know.
We were talking about for those of you that are watching, rewind the clock back to like the start of the 1900s. About whenever you read stories about people that were captive or they were the spoil of war, you know, like a raiding village, or during that time, see, there were white people here. Why did people have mixed breed children back then? And you know, because like whites and natives, we like really weren't getting along. I know my mom can probably tell this a little better, and I don't know if you want there.
I don't know.
We don't want to touch any. We don't want to touch like a nerve, like with any tribe. So I'll just kind of keep it basic, though. But a lot of times, you would see where somebody would have like a white mother, and they would put them. The state, they would get statehood, you know, early in the 1900s. A state would become a state of the United States, which you know now is, like, say, Oklahoma. And tell it.
They did. My grandmother had a white mother. So my grandmother was born in 1902. And so then conveniently, in about 1908, they made my grandmother a ward of the state. And they put her in an Indian school. And they took her mother and they locked her up in Fort Supply, which at that time was a mental health facility, and she lived and died there. And so I don't know if she really had mental health problems or if they just decided that she had an Indian baby with no husband and they locked her up. I don't know. But I mean, it's just a sad story because my grandmother stayed in that Indian school until my grandfather took her out at 15 and married her. She had a bunch of kids, and then she died like a tragic death later on. So I don't know. It's overcoming all of those old things that we try to do today to heal from. That's part of the historical trauma and why we have a lot of dysfunction. So I don't know. I just learned more stuff about family's history and all of that. Why we do what we do, and I mean, you can't stay mad about it forever because it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your family. But it's just one of those things that I thought of, and you know, I don't want to be a victim, and I hate to see victims. But I mean, sometimes some wrongs have happened to people, and you know, you just have to take stock from that and go forward. Anyway, that's all. I just was sharing some family history with Bill because they said the white lady actually spoke Kiowa, but yeah, they locked her away. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Something I might investigate later on. We're still off to the wrestling. In the rain.
What's also kind of super neat is you know, we were talking about a scenario with another lady in a tribe where she lived amongst the natives for like 20 years. You know, she was a white girl.
She was a captive.
You know, she was a captive.
She was a captive, and she left. They rescued her and took her back.
What was the scenario? What you painted a much bigger picture. It's kind of like
did. Well, because they did. What do they do with captives? But then they they eventually would become part of the family or whatever. So she married a man, had kids, and so then once she was discovered and rescued and took back to her family, then she was able to, well, I mean, because she wanted to go back to her kids, to her family, to her Indian family. So she left and went back. And so they went back and got her again and rescued her again. She didn't really want to be rescued. That's the sad part, because she wanted to be with her children. She had adapted to a different way of life. And then so then once they rescued her that second time, she just kind of grieved herself to death. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know why things happen the way they do, but they just do. And not everybody had like just a story, fairy tale life. There's just so much.
if you ever get a chance to watch that movie, Last of the Dog Soldiers, it's kind of sad at the end because Tom Berenger fell in love with that lady, and he fell in love with her. And she was like a college professor, and they went out there, and there was just a band of Cheyenne dog soldiers. And even his dog wanted to stay. His dog stayed with the natives because the people that nursed him back to health, and people don't realize that history isn't what it really seems. You know,
Well,
people-
yeah, like the people camping right now at Standing Rock have like formed bonds, and I mean, you know, that's forever changing their lives. They've become used to living there, and it'll be sad once they like leave that. But however the outcomes on that, then because they will, they've become accustomed to living there, and they've adapted to that kind of life now, and so that it's history in the making, and then you know they'll be forever changed. We send prayers to them too.
you'll never actually see two really traditional natives saying goodbye to one another. It's hurtful.
They say see you later.
They say, see you later, or, you know, travel, you know, what is it, good journeys, or something like that, though, but